Hello.
And we're
Back.
back.
Back
Hey,
again.
Okay, so stuff happened last time.
Yep.
just a bit.
Shit.
Stuff.
Everything happened last time.
hmm
Yep.
Yep. We pretty much come to the end of our journey in Frigsvager. Uh, we are going to eventually talk to the Jarl of the city. Vera takes off immediately and goes directly to him. The rest of us kind of do a little tour with Killian and see some runestones at the three main gates into and out of the city. Most of two of the three are more stories, legends, myths, tales inscribed in runes on the stones that we can read. Some of us can read. I'm sure it was translated. In the meantime, Killian and Bastion in particular, because they were talking together at the time, were getting some side glances of mild anger from people there, but didn't really know why.
I want to know why.
We found out.
Did we?
Killian had some bad reputation,
Okay.
and you just happened to be the one standing next to him.
Okay.
We get to the last runestone and see the Web of Weird. And we meet a practitioner of Sever there, a vulva named Verdandi. She was called for advice by the Jarl of the city and was interested in why Lena was interested in the stone. Also knows Killian on sight, because of course. So we all go to the Jarl and meet Halvar, head of the clan of the Boar, old friend to the Eurus family, bannerman to High King Arn. He welcomes us in, gives us some food, and is making comments about how an eagle is expected from Killian's father at any moment. In the meantime, Bastion deliberately provokes Killian into punching him over and over and over again because Killian won't talk feelings. I'm not sure it was effective or not.
I'd argue it was not.
No, probably
Didn't
not.
make-
Because Killian was
Didn't
going
make
to.
for a visual impact.
Killian was planning on talking anyway, and Bastion just poked the bear right as it was about to speak, so that didn't work out well for anybody. Eventually, Killian replies to Halvar when he asks what was up with him and Vera, and gives a kind of non-answer answer, a runaround. But news of the kingdom in the area. There were talks about whether the old kingdom should honor Union control, especially given the recent events with Killian and so forth. And as we're talking about all of that, Halvar Bastion notices seems uninterested, and when asked, shifts the conversation to entertainment and calls for some skalds. We have a delightful little interlude with a skald battle. Nemia wins, of course. And then the local skalds tell a tale of Halvar's father and something of a conflict with the High King. And Halvar's face expresses betrayal at the mention of the High King. Bastion asks Verdandi what she would advise, and she advises we leave this place quickly. Something dangerous is coming, probably political. At that point, some of us notice that servants have been quietly and slowly closing all the shutters in the room. Pointed out to Killian, and Killian immediately throws the table and makes it a confrontation. He's sick and tired of these politics, of these petty little power plays, and of this betrayal. And he declares he's going to take the crown and get rid of these issues.
Because of course he does.
Yep. Knocks out Halvar. Turns out Halvar was trying to deliberately delay us and keep us here. There was no eagle. And Halvar feels that Killian's family left their bannerman to die at one point, including his own father. As such, he was all set to hand Killian and kind of incidentally the rest of us back over to the Union. But We rush out there in time to see 20 to 30 ships with Dawn Guard banners in the harbor. Some forming a blockade, some landing with soldiers streaming off and trying to break through the inner ring wall of the city. Gillian calls on the leaders of the city to get to action and declares again he's going to take the crown directly from his father and is going to root out all the corruption in this kingdom and then in the Union beyond. So, we head to the Western Gate. We find horses for us, including Killian's own. We mount up. I believe it was said out of game that are Vera and Verdandi coming with us? I think I asked.
They are.
All right.
Yes. So
They're
they would
coming.
have horses too.
And we're gonna probably just follow Killian wherever he plans on leading us, because this is his territory and also very much his quest.
Yeah. Okay. So we pick up with the group fleeing on horseback out of the city. By now, like as the city reaches, as you put some distance between yourself and the city, looking back, you do see a handful of people have managed to start fleeing as well. And they seem to be heading in the direction that you are going. If I'm not mistaken, Killian, you are planning on taking everyone through your home castle, your home territory. Or I can take us to the map, actually. So this is actually something that Lena would have a little bit of knowledge about. You know that, or Lena would know that there is a fort kind of on the in the Old Kingdom that is, serves the Union. You know that one of the Dawn Guard generals is usually stationed at this fort. You've never been there, so you've never known its exact location, just roughly whereabouts. You guys should be on the map now. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Fort Isel is actually that fort. Killian, you're aware of its location. You've probably been there a handful of times. So it is probably very apparent that you do not want to head that direction at this moment.
Not right now.
We're going to need to take it eventually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, eventually. But for now, the group kind of makes their way in this southwest direction, kind of along the coast. It's the best way to travel. A direct route. There's easier roads and paths to travel if you travel along the coast, as there's trade routes and stuff like that. So you head southwest. You kind of have an eye on the coastline. You do see the mass of the Dawn Guard ships are visible pretty far in the distance. You've noticed that a handful of them have broken off and are heading down the coast. You're keeping ahead of them for now, but how fast do you want to push your horses? So for Killian would know this, but it's about 20 miles to get to your castle. So it's almost it's a full day's ride if at a normal pace.
Yep.
So well, that
And
was
we're-
just what I was going to ask. If it's a day and we want to reach there, and given the situation we have in our bags, I'd say we go.
Yeah, I'd say we.
ASAP.
We started at noon.
Yeah.
Riding horses in the dark is very unwise.
Yep.
That's a
Oh.
good way to break a horse's leg.
But if,
Yeah.
if that's the case and we're taking a
Fair
stop
point.
anyways, we might as well push it while we can.
Hopefully we can just get to the forest before then.
Let's at least get out of the open.
How well do you know the terrain around here, Killian? Do you know of any places that would be easy enough to get to with horses, but difficult to find or for outsiders to look for?
Eric?
Sorry, say it again.
Eric? Is that a particular thing, or is that my call on how well he knows it?
Good hidey holes that we can actually hole up in, let the horses rest, and will not be easily tracked to.
Between the castle and Frigsvager, probably not. It's relatively flat land. Relatively, there's hills and spots, but it's relatively flat land. If finding an immediate hidey hole is the goal, you'd probably have to head into the forest.
Do we think how long would it take from where we are to get to the forest? Let's say.
Well, so
Because I don't know how much the map is like fully accurate to that.
Oh yeah, no, it is You can measure.
Oh no,
miles.
I don't mean in miles. I mean like where the trees are.
Yeah, no, that's roughly. It's approximately correct. So
Okay.
you can use that to judge. So yeah, about 12 miles. Because you're already outside the city a little ways.
Yep.
So I'd say about 12 miles to be in the forest proper.
Okay.
So one thing to mention about the geography, Killian would know this. As you head southwest along the coast, at some point, it becomes kind of a cliff to the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So they won't be able to, to land anywhere effectively. So the only pursuers you'll have to worry about are from behind you.
Yep.
Yeah.
How
Where's
long
that cliff
does
start
this-
roughly? Like
Yeah.
here or?
So no, probably maybe about 3 or 4 miles down from Frigsvager.
Oh, okay. More on the coastline. Okay.
Yes. Yep. And actually, the point where you would immediately turn and head west is a very famous point. It is the start of the ice cliffs.
Ooh.
Or it's these cliffs that just kind of follow this whole portion of the continent that kind of has this permanent ice layer on it.
All right.
So the one place where the army could come from is basically our backs on the same road we're in. Okay, that's good.
Unless they like fucking like they got some serious sleeper agents from the
Yeah.
west, but yeah.
But
Well, so
this
I mean,
this passage is it? It sounds defensive. I mean, ice.
so
It is famous for some reason.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, so it's you won't have to worry about attack from the sea. It's virtually impossible to scale,
Okay.
though many have tried.
How's the
Um,
weather around here?
It is cold. If you go much farther south than the start of the ice cliffs, you'll start seeing that permafrost on the ground,
Right.
and then any much farther south is just snow. Even at this time of year, it's we're barely into the harvest season, and there will be snow if you go much farther south.
Slates. Okay.
The snow harvesters here is wonderful.
They are not called the ice wastes for nothing.
On that too. Well, I guess some logistics question.
Yeah. Go for it.
Like how would the path we took from like port be like one of the faster ways you could get here, or would like the straight ground path have any speed to it, like basically to Fort Isle?
Oh, you mean like from the capital to?
Yeah.
So
Basically,
You guys-
from where we fled, is it how feasible is it that word got to Fort Isle by now?
by bird, very likely.
Okay.
I mean, even on the ship, Guntram delivered a couple messages during the trip. So
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
And Guntram is not exactly equipped for that, I should say.
Yep.
He can do it, but that's not he's not built for speed.
I guess Killian also ask Lena, like, or maybe Killian knows it as well. What's the man force up on Fort Isle?
Usually, so the force you've seen had to have been gathered for a little while. It is usually not that big. At very most, these forts are manned with maybe 1,000 men.
Okay.
Usually, and then of course it is Lena would know this. It is a Dawn Guard fort, so you will also have maybe about 100 Dawn Guard there at any given time.
Okay.
That's the usual makeup. So
And
the ships you've seen and the men you've seen there's no way that could have been gathered in a day.
And Fort Isle is on a port.
Yes.
Okay. Do they have what are their ship forces like then? Like
You've seen them.
Yeah. Okay. Is it like it's explicitly the ones that were at Frixvar or?
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's
Yeah.
probably faster for them to have sent a message over land, from New Haven through magic or whatever other means, that as we were basically circumnavigating this entire.
Because you guys spent about 3-4 days to make the trip around.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They had time to send word and to muster, and probably had a good enough guess where we would have gone.
Yep.
That when the Jarl was like, "Hey, he's here," they went, "Great, everybody on the boats."
All right. So on that too, that makes me think a thing. Basically, once we get to the castle, then we should just immediately send word to go fuck up Fort Isle. I don't know if anyone from the Williams are gonna take it, but I mean they're spread thin.
It depends on if they're staying in Friggsvagar or if they are withdrawing back to the fort, because it's going to take us a day to get to Yera's castle.
Yeah, that's that too. Damn it.
Yeah. So going back a bit, if we're talking logistics, so we know it's going to take a day to get to the castle. To travel further on, the capital was the original intent. As you're writing, you're thinking of all these things and strategizing. Moving on from Yera's castle, you would travel to Forngrind, which is about 15 miles. So maybe 2/3 a day of a travel. Actually, no. This is in forest, windy roads.
Yeah.
That's probably another day travel, honestly.
Mhm.
And then moving on from there, it's another maybe half day to a little more than a half day to the edge of the forest. Then just a few miles to the river, and then you can take that up.
Right.
So you're looking at 3 days to the capital.
Okay.
Or to the old kingdom capital, I should say, to Winter's Door.
Okay. You get to the castle either way, but shit.
Sorry, 1 second.
You guys don't have any way of never you guys have sending or anything, do you?
Just look for like bells.
No.
We're not leveled high enough for that anyway.
Yeah.
I
Thought
have
I'd
one more
ask.
for sending, and I don't have Animal Messenger.
Yeah. I have got nothing that facilitates communication.
Not via
Wait.
birds.
But you have a sword.
It would require somebody to understand it. Hold on. Can you write a message?
That's an interesting
How
point.
fast does a bird fly?
If it's by Animal Messenger rules, I mean.
It's not quite by Animal Messenger rules.
Um,
I'm just very convincing depending on... Is Guntram here?
Yes, actually, you probably
There
would have
is Bird.
noticed. Yeah, you probably would have noticed him flying above.
if this is open discussion for the sake of planning at any point during the travel, Lena might think about it, look at Guntram, look at Killian, and can you write a message as a warning, as instructions? And Vera, would Guntram be willing to fly it?
Of course.
Guntram? Would you be willing?
You're speaking to Guntram?
Yes.
Yeah, Guntram would, he would give like a nod.
Can you
Okay.
make that flight? How long would it take you?
He could probably make that flight pretty quickly. I'd say, how fast do birds travel?
If it's by animal messenger rules, it's 1 day's worth. But that's for a tiny flying creature. Because if we're from doing it from nearest castle.
That's like 100 kilometers, 60 miles.
It is
Pigeon
literally
can-
as the
50
crow
miles per
flies.
Yeah.
50 miles. So Guntram's a bit faster than that, I would say.
Mm.
Sure, he can glide quite a bit better than the average pigeon.
Yeah, so
He's unlikely to be slowed down or harried by any other bird.
He'd also
Yeah.
I was gonna fuck with him.
he'd also be a hell of a seal. Like he shows up and you know he's legit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do this.
Yeah,
So,
okay,
yeah,
let's
I
go.
can write your letter.
So
he can probably make it to the capital today.
okay, here's the thing. He can make it to the
Mhm.
capital today. How long would it take for him to get to Forngrund?
To Forngrind? Well, less than we're talking hours.
Mm-hmm.
2 letters.
Oh, like 2 stops?
Well, Forngrund first is my first
Oh, yeah,
concern.
of course, but
Mhm.
it's not too much longer.
Yeah, it's roughly halfway.
And D&D technically is non-Euclidean, so makes no difference in distance.
Well, I mean, that's for the sake of battle maps being easy, not reality itself. Killian looks at everyone just like, I need an opinion on something.
Okay.
What about sending a letter to Forngrund?
I
that
did
the,
not hear what you said.
What about sending a letter to Forngrund?
Couldn't hurt.
What about sending a
Send-
letter telling him to raid the fort?
Mm.
Still
What are
couldn't hurt.
Forngrund's forces like? How many warriors?
Eric?
Forngrind is not as big as. Sorry, 1 second, guys.
Sure.
Because I'm just assuming that the fort, even as an out of the way border fort, far from the capital and probably less important for it.
I'll be back in like a couple minutes, guys.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Sure thing.
I'm afraid that a Union Dawn Guard fort, is going to be very fortified
Right.
and hard to take by design. So I'd rather not just send a single squad of warriors into a meat grinder to splatter against the wall.
Right, but what I'm thinking is they're at Frigsvager right now.
Mm-hmm. If they
I'm
could move fast enough. It depends,
the thing.
because the ones on Frigsvager might have just realized that we're out and most of the ships might have gone back.
Here's the thing, though. The people attacking us knew they were having this attack. They all came by ship. That's a very easy place to just bring one ship to and have the other 19 or 20 attack Frigsvager. I wouldn't be surprised if it's far better manned than it usually is.
How would they get a ship there?
It's on a port.
Yeah, but they'd have to get like forces from the Union.
Yeah. All the Union forces are on a boat right now.
Yeah,
Because
the
the Dawn
boats
Guard
came
is
from the
allied with the
fort.
Union.
Yeah. All those forces came from Fort Isolde. We were
Yeah,
not
and
followed by them.
And was it not that that they would have had to gather all these forces because the fort wouldn't have had all that? Like, I still think this would be the best time to do it. I'm just thinking that
Not necessarily. I don't think so.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
necessarily.
Eric said of like 1,000 men, like
Mhm.
for the fort, and I mean 20 ships with how many per?
well, he said that the people attacking Fort Frigsburg would be upwards, like over 1,000. So
Yeah, but still, hold on. It would have been over 1,000 because there were about 100 Dawn Guard in the fort as well. So let's call that 1,100.
Mhm.
Divide that by, say, 25 ships on average. That's 44 men per ship. That is not super cramped, but it is a decent.
I believe he mentioned how many people were per ship last
Was it
session.
50 per
Wasn't it
ship?
like-
I think
I
he
think
did.
I thought it was closer to 100
Was it? I don't remember now.
Well, we'll
because
see
it's
when
enough
he
to take
gets
a whole
back.
city.
Regardless, in the time it took us to go around, there is no way that Fort Isolde was basically reinforced all the way from New Haven. There's enough time for a message to be sent, maybe enough time for another message to muster somebody from within like a day's march.
Mm.
Armies travel slow, and they
Super slow.
muster slow. In fact, the
And
greatest risk with getting Forngrind to pull together a force is that if there is a large enough force in a slow enough muster time, by the time they are gathered and ready to go, the ships attacking Frigsvagr might go back to Fort Isolde and reinforce it already.
Mhm.
All right, I'm back.
Hello.
Hey there.
Logistics.
I still think that it's one of those things that we shouldn't decide if the attack is happening, but inform Forngrund with the intent of like, hey, we think this is a good idea, but you have more info on what's happening at both the fort and Forngrund. So that the generals who are in charge of those armies make that decision. Just we think this is a good idea.
So, Old Kingdom doesn't organize the same way as the Union does. It's
Yeah.
very much war chiefs and their band, and them agreeing to go fight for someone else is usually a very rare thing. But yeah,
Yeah. I'm just thinking like they would know their men and forces
Yes.
best.
Can I
And
just
sorry, I'll
say
just be
my
right back for 1 sec.
Can I say my gut assumption about just based on the culture and so on would be for this situation? A letter going to whatever chief is in charge of Forngrund going, hey, the Union is attacking the prince of the country. Go mess up Fort Isolde because it might be empty right now because they're attacking Frigsvagr, may not be met with quite as much yes as if Killian himself walked into Forngrund and said, hey, rally to me.
Yeah.
And here we missed the and here is the other part of the sentence I was going to say before the logistics got brought up first. Was Killian's next part of this was, hey, go do this. If you've got a problem with it, I'll show up and fight you to do it.
okay. So
Good enough.
So
Another-
on that note, who runs Forngrind?
you would probably not be familiar with the person, but there would be a chief that you could address it to.
Okay.
Forngrind is deep in the woods, and while you have been there, it may not have been like you may not have been there much. It is not it's not. They're obviously loyal to the High King and all that stuff, but most of the cities are basically like their own separate nations. So, although yeah, you're in close proximity to it, they do their own thing. Everyone does their own thing,
Okay.
and in times of great trouble, do they unify?
All right. Well, it still might be worth because it's also on the way. Killian just rolling in there and saying, "Hey, when something happens, not if, when." But okay. Still though, a letter to Forngrind would probably still be in order. Where like, hey, don't fucking trust any Dawn Guard. Tell
Yes.
Fort Isolde to go fuck itself.
Oh, another thing I was going to say that Killian would know.
Mhm.
The idea of, hey, this fort is empty, go sack it, might not be as appealing as, hey, this army is attacking, go fight them.
That's fair.
Like from a strategic standpoint, yes, it makes sense to capture the
that's
fort.
fair.
But from a glory standpoint,
Yeah,
there's
okay.
like no value to
Yeah,
it.
no, that's me, not Killian. You're right.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
would know this.
Yep.
Killian would know this.
Yep, that's fair too. Okay.
You could also just basically say, build an army. If anyone's gonna attack Frigsvaga, Forngrind is gonna become an important stop.
Yes. So, the most direct way to gather an army to fight back would be from a command or just the High King would need to personally would need to reach out to everyone and be like, hey, we need to fight this common threat. That is what it would take to unify the kingdom into a full army.
All right. Yep. That's fair.
Otherwise, most people will probably be like, maybe they'll help their neighbors.
Yep.
But the idea of, country, city on the west side of the kingdom is like, oh, Frigsvager's been attacked? That's nice. They should have fought better.
Yep. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I was thinking more just specifically for Forngrind because they're right there, but yes, also
Yes.
good to know. All right. So
Forngrind, there is the possibility that they would go to the aid of Frigsvager, but you don't know the political state of Forngrind.
Yep. So on that note, Killian's gonna I don't know. Killian looks over at Vera and is like, how good are you writing a letter on horseback?
She gives you a look like, seriously? Like to imply that she can do it no problem.
Okay. Yep.
Ah.
Yeah. It's like.
Also, you have a magical writing quill.
Oh yeah, we do.
We do.
Oh yeah. Do we know how that works yet?
Yeah,
We figured
it's
that
a-
out. Okay.
Just kind of right.
It's like a dictaquill,
Oh,
basically.
no, I know how it works. I just didn't know if the
Horrible
party
info.
figured it out.
I'm
We
sure
had
it's-
4 days on a ship.
Fair.
it
Alright.
has been figured out.
All right.
I also have identify.
Yep. Okay. So on that, I guess Fira can do the one for Forngrind. Gillian will do the one for the capital.
Yep. Winter's Door, if you want to know the translation.
Yep. And just hey, Union's a bunch of bastards. Frigsvager's been raided by the Dawn Guard.
Sorry, you're gonna have to start that over. A kid came in and literally threw a banana at me.
Was it deserved?
No, it was just she
Okay.
came in happy and threw a banana at me.
So you try to get to that potassium.
It
In,
was done out of love.
so phrased in more like formal and Valiant words.
Obviously.
Union's corrupt. Dawn Guard are a bunch of bastards. Frigsvager been attacked. Killian's vying to kick the king's ass to take the crown.
Maybe also note that Halvar turned traitor.
Yep. Definitely.
So you're sending a letter to your father saying you're gonna come and kick his ass to take his crown?
Yes.
Declaration
wanted-
of intent.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Love you, pops.
P.S. Pull out your good sword and put on your sheath.
All right. Sure. Okay. Yes, you can get that ready. What's going to Forngrind?
Probably a similar. Just maybe an extra warning on Fortizol and the fact that the forces are probably just now heading back there, as well as maybe just an implorement to hey, there's probably going to be a group of escapees going to Eurus Castle. They might be sent over your way later.
Yes. If Eurus Castle is very much a stronghold, but against a large-scale army,
Yep.
may not last.
Yeah, additionally, if Frigsvager is like to the ground, in that case, like Eurus Castle is a stronghold, but people need a town.
Yeah, because Eurus Castle would not survive a siege of any length with a large amount of people. Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, so notes written. It is. I'm assuming it's explained to Guntram. One letter to Forngrind, one letter to Winter's Door, and which foot it's attached to.
Yep.
Hopefully, he doesn't mix them up.
Yep.
He's an intelligent creature, so.
The gold ribbons for the capital, the red ribbons for the town.
Guntram still shoots daggers at, with his eyes at Killian. Anytime he tries to speak up.
Killing's over. What? I'm taking it. Aren't you happy?
There is probably a moment of. Yeah,
he's just a grin at that.
Lena just translates. He's on the fence.
Yep. I mean, there's definitely a notion that you're stepping up and doing what you're supposed to do, but it's very much like, well, shit, finally.
And there's just a look back and it's like, well, make sure he knows. If he's got any problem with me being king, I'll take him on too.
Step down or step up,
You
Pop.
stood it up, yeah.
Guntram
Quite
kind
a
of
history,
perks
man.
up. He does that thing the birds, like they puff out their
The feathers
chest
go up.
Feathers,
Yep.
yeah. He's ready. He's ready to fight.
They smile and it's like, come on, you've got your country to inform first.
Yes.
Don't want to break a wing on you. Wink.
Guntram will, call out at everyone. Lena, you'll understand it as basically him telling Killian to don't do anything stupid and
he
to
says-
protect Vera.
He says not to do anything stupid and to protect Vera. Can't imagine you doing anything stupid.
I'll prioritize the second.
And with that, Guntram will have a brief loving moment with Vera and will take off. And you'll see him kind of quickly disappear off into the distance as you are still making your way down the coast.
I'm glad that wretched thing makes at least someone happy.
One day, you will learn to like him, and maybe he will learn to like you.
He'll learn to respect me. Then he'll learn to like me.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
He looks back, it's like, did you miss the last hour?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I've never met a bird that understands respect. They are all bastards, every one of them. Though that one's pretty
You
cool.
bite your tongue.
I've never. I think I will if I keep talking on this horse. But just every bird I've ever met hates me. Even the ones I tried to feed. I don't know what I was doing wrong.
Clearly something. Ravens
Yeah.
are proud and noble creatures.
All those birds
Yes,
sound
and I don't think
sensible
they
to me.
understand respect. I think they understand begrudgingly who does them a favor, not respect.
I think I understand respect perfectly.
Very
Of
well.
course you do.
At the there'll be a kind of amused laugh from Verdandi, and she's been mostly quiet up to this point, listening into the conversation going back and forth. At the mention of birds and respect, she'll just chime in with a simple line that birds understand respect far better than humans ever will.
Oh, maybe that's the trick. Maybe we're talking about different kinds of respect.
Perhaps.
No, Bastion. I think you're just you've got your helmet on screwed on too tight.
Why would you screw on a helmet? It's just bad practice.
Poor design and the fact that the wearer didn't think things through.
Keep him talking,
almost-
maybe he'll
I'm
choke on
almost-
his own blood.
Exactly. That's
almost-
kind of what I'm hoping.
I'm almost offended you think I would poorly design a piece of armor.
Okay. After perhaps, after the logistics of all this have been sorted out and the banter cast back and forth,
Mid gallop.
no, I would say you guys would had to have, been traveling at a slower pace to kind of sort out what you're doing. You're still moving forward, but you were going slower just to figure out what the heck's going on.
Yep.
Once everything's been established, then you could pick up the pace.
Horses can't sustain a gallop for that long anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know the official term for it is. You're not walking. Is it like
Canter?
a trot? A canter? I
A
don't know.
trot is very bouncing up and down, probably not good for any kind of talking because you will bite your tongue off. A canter is
Yep.
much smoother and is the step below a gallop. Gallop
Okay.
is like full steam sprint for a horse. Yes.
Okay,
Um,
so yeah, a canter then, I guess. So you're traveling faster than you would walking. Yes, am I correct in that?
Certainly.
Significantly.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, if walking pace is standard speed 24 miles per 8 hours in D&D, horse is 36, I think. I think it's 1.5 times, but I don't recall. Hold on. I actually know what page
here
it's
we-
on. I'll go check.
The average speed of a canter is 10 to 17 miles an hour, 16 to 27 kilometers an hour. So that's fairly fast. Yes. Okay.
Yes, but horses don't have
Thing
the
is, yeah.
Yeah, horses have to take breaks. You canter and then you walk, and then you canter and then you
Yes.
walk.
But these are
So
also
an
magical Valiant horses.
Yes, I'm just gonna check the thing in the D&D book. In the
Oh yes. I don't know why I'm not looking at that.
Yeah.
D&D.
It's like right there. So
These are tough fucks.
They are probably stronger than your standard
Yes, but are they
Union
more-
horse.
but do they have higher endurance? That's the real question.
They're used to this terrain.
They are used to this terrain. They're used to this weather. So
Well, yes, but so is the standard horse in its thing. Either way, I'm just gonna, like I said, just check the thing.
Mhm.
What the fuck is it? Damn, I thought it was. I was very wrong. Why is there three separate things called movement in the player's handbook?
As a side note, just thinking on something, does Killian know any burial sites, like near them at all?
You might know of some in the forest, strictly in between Friggsvalger and Nearest Castle. No.
Okay,
Okay, we're going normal pace, right?
Yeah, normal pace.
just a
That is
curiosity
good.
more than anything, especially with our history.
Yeah, I mean, there would be ruins everywhere, given how old the kingdom is.
Mhm.
It's more so has it been uncovered.
Okay. So every hour that we have a quote unquote fresh horse, we can effectively triple how fast we go for that 1 hour. So if it takes, if the horse, and it says on average a horse can run for 1 hour at this triple speed. So I imagine it's like we could do that twice, and that would bring us from 24 miles up to 32. If we do that over the course of 8 hours.
Well, so I'm just going to go off the basic riding horse that says it can go 60 feet, which so it
Here.
can basically go double.
I found this. It's in the SRD on Roll20. Let me just paste it
Oh.
into the chat.
Ah, thank you.
Screenshot.
There you go.
Um,
I like it.
vehicles. So,
Yeah,
twice the usual
That's what I'm reading right
distance
now.
for fast pace. So, for an hour, we can cover 8 miles. However, at that point, the horses are going to be very tired and not going to be able to do that again for a bit. So I don't think we're getting a fresh horse every 8 to 10 miles.
No.
Nope.
So you're basically not gaining any speed, essentially, right? You're basically as if you were walking.
No, you would still get a greater speed overall because it could still walk at normal pace after that 1 hour. Just that 1 hour gets an extra 6 miles, basically.
Basically, the gallop is 1 hour twice the fast pace for traveling.
Okay, gotcha.
So maybe we could just do regular fast pace if we break up the gallops without needing to refresh horses just for simplicity. So 30 miles in a day on horseback, not counting any difficulties of terrain or anything like that. If that
So-
sounds like a reasonable compromise.
So you could
Who's in the DMG?
9 miles. So about 20 miles you could do in.
All right, if it helps, the 30 miles in a day for 4 miles in an hour fast pace is 7.5 hours of travel. If it would have taken us 7.5 hours to get to the castle, because it takes a day of travel.
Then roll into the 6 in that case.
Well, okay, if you're going 20 miles and it's 4 miles an hour, it's 5 hours. Yes, simple math. Unless you go
Yeah.
super fast.
Yeah, if you want to narrow it down that way, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to go the fast speed, you can probably make it there in about 5 hours, which would still be light out, which I hope.
Cool. Evening.
Yes.
Good enough.
No need to camp because horses. Yay, horses.
Yep. Okay. So now that that's been figured out, man, horses are a pain.
Yeah, I'm checking the DMD just in case there's something else we're missing, but yeah.
No, we can go with that. That sounds reasonable enough.
I don't want to do this anymore. Let's just go.
Yeah, no, I'm just angry that there isn't a rule for that.
Yes, we've spent the first 45 minutes planning D&D. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So, you set off on a fast pace. The horses seem almost built for it. There's no complaints from them. So, several hours pass. You are putting distance between you and the traveling ships. So you know that they're not moving very fast. It doesn't seem to be a favorable wind and current, all that. So it's good news for you as you're putting distance between them, and at some point, oh no, what is the unfortunate answer?
Okay, I found the DMG answer for when you don't have just people. It's basically a number of miles equal to 1/10 of your movement speed per hour. So if it
What?
moves 60 feet, it's 6 miles per hour. That's just what the DMG says for when you don't have like normal walking pace.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh, so depending on these horses, if they have a 40-foot movement speed, then the 4 miles per hour is still accurate.
Yeah, which
And
I
I
think is the average
think-
horse speed. So
I think it is.
I thought
So
it was
unless
60.
Eric made something special.
I mean, I did say they were riding horses,
Oh,
which
okay.
implies 60 feet.
Ah.
yeah, so in that case, 6 miles an hour.
That's considerable speed.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, I found that as you said that you were done with it, and I apologize.
So I mean, that cuts your 5 hours down to what, 3.5,
Yeah.
give or take.
assuming we're only a mile out, then 3.
So yeah, so we'll say we'll put it at 4 just to call it even.
Okay.
You
should take
cannot
a
run
break
straight
on the
there.
way.
Mhm.
Can't run straight there. You follow the coast. At some point, you do. There is an incline, so that does affect your speed a little bit. As you're traveling up, and the cliff face begins to develop on the coastline, you're starting to be, have some elevation compared to the sea level. Good news for you. I mean, you're traveling faster, but you can see farther, so it kind of balances out. So you can see, the ships kind of in the distance. You're putting distance between them. You reach the official start of the ice cliffs, and
I'll just look down on it. It's like, those bastards aren't any better than those fucking ash gangs.
War is war. All of it really kind of sucks.
Okay, sorry. Yes, so you reach the the ice cliffs, and you immediately head due west towards the forest. I don't believe you can see it from that distance. No, you cannot. That's a good 10 miles. But you make a good steady pace. Every so often you'll check back to see if anything's following you, and nothing immediately in your view. Several hours pass, and you reach the edge of the forest, and you approach on the lands that belong to the Urus family. There are, you reach a scattering of farmlands first on the outskirts of town. It's kind of
Property.
Yeah, property. Urus Castle is unique in that it's kind of governed more like you would find in the Union, where it's a bunch of there's farmers that have land, and then there's things built around the castle, and the castle kind of serves as like the central point of the city. Provides protection and like a European style. And so that's one thing that's unique about Urus Castle. Another thing that's unique about it is a castle, which is not normal for the Old Kingdom. Urus Castle has, legend goes, it started as a longhouse, just a simple longhouse for the family. And, it was raided and pillaged, built up bigger. And over many, many ages has been destroyed and rebuilt, each time made stronger than the last. The last time that it was pillaged, it was rebuilt with stone and with more of a style you would find in the Union. So it's a very much more European feel to the castle. The influence is present. There are still some traditional Old Kingdom wooden structures, but it's kind of built on to this kind of standard castle.
Can you tell where my uncle's been spending time?
I was about to ask if you'd messed up and led us to the fort by accident.
Many of the people seeing, working the fields, recognize you, Killian. There's a respectful bow by any who sees you.
I'll just give like a nod backwards, back towards them. Wonder if my reputation is stuck around here too.
Let's hope so.
Or if just given the spot there, not willing to risk showing their opinions.
So, here's the question. Are we pausing here, fortifying, or dropping a message and pushing on to Forngrund?
That's gonna depend on something.
Alright.
You give us the word.
First of all, let's make sure there's not any more shit to deal with here.
Fuck, I hate politics.
Keep the horses saddled.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. That's the thing we need is optimal bad thing is just a party of them showing up on the front door.
Mm-hmm. So, you can reach the castle proper, the kind of outer gates of this castle. The guards there are familiar, but you don't necessarily know their names. They don't get stationed. It's not like the guy that watches the gate, that's his permanent job forever. So they switch it up. But, there is, as you approach...
There might be like the one where Killian goes, "Oh, you're still here?"
Yeah, basically. There's obviously, they notice you approach, formal, respectful bow, and, they kind of hail you and say, it's good to see you again. What brings you home?
Quite a bit's gone on. First of all, Frigsbacher got attacked.
There is a look of shock.
Union
On their
dogs
face.
and the Dawn Guard.
You sound like your uncle.
He's dealing with that on his end already. He'll just like
I just took a drink of water. Why would you do that?
It was really funny.
I couldn't say it out loud. I had to type it.
Uh,
Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
but they're reforming the Dawn God.
Oh man. Ooh.
We're
Okay.
gonna reform the Dawn Guard, all right? Give it reforms.
But they're reforming the Dawn God. Ash Gang Hunters or something. Killing will hop off the horse. It's Lady of the House in.
Your mother's in the capital with your father.
Thoughts?
You will find it's a very empty home to return to.
Who is home?
You were home. The people that live here are home. And, the scattering of able-bodied men who I'm sure will await your command.
Nods.
They seem ready for a fight.
And he says, just... Look, wouldn't be surprised if a scout of the bastards who made land wandered the way over here. By all means, bend them over backwards, but if it's looking like everyone here is gonna fall, then I mean, it's not the first time this place has been torn down.
We'll send some men out to try and get a jump on this. If a large force is coming, are you suggesting we flee?
He thinks about it and he's like, depends on how big a force, I guess. Not to say you shouldn't fight them, just... I don't know, at some point we're probably going to take the fort up to the north, and I'm sure you guys could be a good arm on that.
There's a nod between them, between the two guards that are there.
Send word if you can. And
Of course.
he walks in.
Yep. You walk into the castle and are immediately met with the nostalgia that is your home, your childhood home. You have your long central hall upon entering. There are a scattering of people moving back and forth, going about their daily lives. Those that notice you, stop, immediately stop, give a formal bow, and run off to do whatever it is they were doing. Hustle and bustle as usual here. They don't seem to be affected by any news, so you seem to be at the forefront of it.
Yep. He's gonna kind of maybe just like find the main hall or something. Just walk in. Well, I was kind of. Part of me was hoping my mom would be here.
Yeah, I mean, you knew. Killian would know that there was like a 50-50 shot of her being there.
Exactly.
I almost
So-
feared to ask. What's she like?
I mean, after the shit you pulled last time, I don't even know if I want to have you in the same room as her, but...
In that case, just say it now so I know what to avoid.
Rolls his eyes.
Please tell me that if Bastion pulls something, she'll throw him into a table.
Wouldn't be
Or
my
tell
mom
me so
otherwise.
that-
She's a valiant woman
Yeah,
through
that
and through.
counts.
Good.
Okay. Quick question. Just what does she look like so I know if I'm in the same room as her? After the whole not knowing that Volva was powerful, I'm almost fearful.
Good. Keep it that way.
Okay, in that case, just please explain what she's like.
And, step on her toes, see what happens. You'll be fine.
I'll just step on yours, it's more fun.
I was hoping she'd be here, so she could tell me if there's any good way to kick my old man's ass.
She would undoubtedly have a way.
Mhm.
Your mother is known as a quiet yet fierce woman. She is, well, I guess only you would know this, Killian. So I'm not going to bother. We'll go into it later.
And just nods and just... I mean, if anyone had some sort of something to pierce his metaphorical armor, let's say, she'd be the one, but
Mhm.
might be a bit more difficult if I'm standing in the same room as them to get the info out of her.
Best you can hope is that maybe she sends a message back with Guntram.
Nods.
So, to that end, are we moving on or are we staying here? You said it depended on something. What's the thing?
Was her being here?
Yep, so it's an empty castle. Well, empty of your family castle. But there is, a small town. No, a large village worth of population of people.
Is there any sort of is there anything close to like the standing stones that were over in Frixvager here?
There is not,
Okay.
because the castle has been raided and destroyed so many times. A lot of history has been destroyed with it.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
I just wondered if any new ones started up with the stone exterior or anything like that.
Nope, it's almost bland for the old kingdom. Unfortunately, its walls remain empty. A new story is yet to be written on them.
Kelly just leans back and just. What do you guys think the possibilities are of something hiding underneath the ground here? Something they hid so well that it didn't get in the raids the last few times.
In what way?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just being hopeful after the mirror and the cult hideout, but
I'd say that now probably is not the time to go digging.
just I don't know. I just wonder if there's a reason they kept building here other than stubbornness.
Well, I mean that sounds about right.
which, mind you, should not be underestimated. But I don't know. Old Kingdom's been around this long because the stubbornness has been well placed.
Yep, that is very true.
Are there any like people who have
No. Maybe.
Meeting. Yep.
I mean, it's
Alright.
there. It's how you get back. It's the only form of victory you can take in that situation.
Basically.
Get that potassium. Is there anyone here who's like been here a while? Like anyone Killian would know?
There are probably several elder members that still, maybe some of the elder landowners around the area, some of the farm owners, basically. There might be some of the elders of those families still around. Yeah.
I think maybe it's worth going and talking to the elders.
No, perhaps. It is, probably what, 6 p.m. It'll probably be dark in the next hour. Within the next hour.
Yep. I'm just. If they're not already asleep, and he gets up.
All
Okay.
right. So if we're staying here, then maybe we should see to those horses.
I don't. I mean, we can't exactly find a better place to stay.
Yeah.
Not making it a foreign grid in the next bit.
These horses are Killian's family's horses, so there is definitely a family stable.
I just want to make sure that we're not leaving them in saddle and tack and everything, and then
Killian will say thanks to the stable hand, but also, good to see his horse again, but also, don't go to bed too early tonight.
Be ready to move. Be ready to get them ready. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. They'll, respectfully, as you command.
And then he's gonna go look for some of the farming elders.
Okay, yeah. So you head back out to let me pull up my notes. You would probably head to. Okay. Yeah. So you would head to probably the oldest one would be the head of the Krog family. They have basically the biggest chunk of farmland in the area. Yeah, it doesn't take too long to get there. A few minutes ride. A few minutes ride. You can reach what would be like the main house of the family. They readily let you enter, as you're the prince.
Yep.
So there's no opposition. You enter into it's basically what you'd expect of, like, it's a giant hall, like a feast hall, but on a much smaller scale.
Yep.
And you would find many of the family members there eating the food that has been prepared. It's late dinner, but it is dinner nonetheless. So you find them all there. They welcome you to the tables to sit down and join them with food.
Could I have a quick question on the way
Yes.
in?
Mhm.
How did the fields look? Harvest should be happening, right?
Yes, that's why everyone's out working the fields.
Yeah. Does it look like it's going well, or?
From what you can see, yeah, things look much better than things in your past. Yeah. Yep, they seem to be doing well, which is surprising given the intensely cold climate.
If Lena is like staring at it or anything at a point, he just goes, "Everything is stubborn here."
Yes.
And given the current situation, but it's still harvest, are they preparing any type of event for it?
Any like harvest events would have already taken place.
Oh, okay. It's
like-
pre-harvest, and then hard work. Okay.
Yeah, so like
Like that was pretty close to the event we went to, like back
Yeah,
in the
right,
Union,
the-
right?
Harvest Festival was, a little over 2 weeks ago. So yeah.
Would have been around the same time.
Start of this campaign.
Yep. So yeah, Killen's just gonna say hi to them and just say, I'll almost allow a more casual thing, like not as much need for formality in that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But at a point he's gonna like try to get into a side to like some of the like elder people.
Yep. So the elder of the family is Leaf Krog. He is very much getting on in years, almost abnormally so for members of the Old Kingdom.
Like he's very long lived.
No, as in, like, so average human lifespan is in the range of like 80 years, best case scenario, right?
Mhm.
Old Kingdom best case scenario is like 60 something. So he's probably approaching 60.
Mhm.
So he's getting old, but he's still young enough that he is capable. He still works the land. Maybe not as much as his now large family, but he still does his part. He's doesn't have much in the way of a beard. It's probably just a small, light one. His hairs are very much. He is grayed already. he has a worn look on his face, but he is happy to see you, and he welcomes you and asks, what news? What news do you bring?
We're in odd times, old man. Seems a lot of shit going on. A friendly little union off to the side. I'm currently a wanted man in there.
So we've heard.
Moreover,
to
that end, they've sent a rally of ships, probably from the fort to the north over to Friggsvager. Attacked it.
They attacked us.
Nuts.
That is grim yet exciting news.
Not just that, but I'm trying to remember. Jarl
Halvar.
Alvar. Alvar was a bit of a turncoat. Apparently he's in someone's pocket from over there, and was keen on once I made land there, having us sit there until they were knocking on the doorstep.
The spineless bastard.
So.
Did you take his head?
Nah, but I left him bleeding on the floor while that was all going on. Everyone else probably left him and stepped on him as they went out.
Suppose it wasn't even worth killing.
And to that end, I'm looking at taking the crown.
There's a look on his face. This look flash. There's like three stages of this look, all in like a moment. There's almost a look of pride. He's seen you grown up.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost family. So there's this look of pride, and then there's an immediate look of concern because he has much respect for Arn, and he is so loyal basically to Arn. And then there's a look of not acceptance, but kind of just like a passing, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah. And to that end, I'm looking to do my old man to as much respect as I can. I'm not just going to let him give it to me. Now or in the future. I'm taking it now. I'm taking it from his hands.
There's... your uncle and your father once fought. There weren't many there to see the fight, but I was there. And everyone was certain Ulf would win. And he did not.
Nods.
Your father, although Ulf abandoned his throne, your father has rightfully earned it. And although he's getting on in years, you might find it a challenge.
Nods. Wouldn't have it any other way. And if you're using challenge to undersell that I'm gonna have no chance, then, like I said, formality's not needed here.
I haven't seen you in some time. I don't know what you're capable of now, but I sure hope you've grown, or he'll kick you right back home.
Yeah, no, I guess that's part why I'm coming here.
Now, if you're looking for us to back you, that is it's not going to work that way, I'm afraid.
Shakes his head. No, of course not. The only persons people I'd want backing me are the ones going on the promise that I'm taking it. But nah. I need to be there rightfully first.
He nods. You see him give a stretch, kind of. He grabs onto his hand. He's probably developed like arthritis over the years, and he's got, he's rubbing his old bones basically. And he turns back to you and he's like, I've lived through so much, and yet I find the times keep changing.
At least it keeps it fun. But
That it does.
You have been here a while.
Yep.
Been here before my old man took his first steps, I would think.
Very much. I watched him grow up too.
Or did he learn?
I don't know. I don't know that anyone truly knows where he learned to fight like he does. You have to ask him yourself.
He shakes his head. Yeah, I don't think I can actually. I can easily ask him for pointers right before I bring him into the ring.
Oh, he's your father. He might give you a few tips just to
crush
maybe
my
make it a
spirit
fair
that bit more.
Maybe make it a fair fight.
I'll do that on my own terms.
But that brings up a good point, Bastion. Your father is cut from a different cloth. He may not accept your challenge.
What made him accept my uncle's then?
They were younger in years, perhaps a more foolhardy. But Arn has gone the way of peace, and while many disagree with it, it has been good for the people of the Old Kingdom.
I would think so. So far, but it's been sanitary. It's been stagnant. The roots have started to rot a bit.
So it seems.
A little fun in Frigsvager made me realize that. Not just that, but how grown up.
Yeah.
Status in politics by name only.
Now, this is just the musings of an old man, but it may not be necessary to take the throne from him. If you could only convince him to take action, that might be enough.
Yeah, like rolls his neck around. I kinda already sent him a letter of challenge.
Leaf kind of he rolls his eyes and takes a drink.
Was that about
A big, long drink.
If you don't know where he learned, then do you know anyone who does?
Those that taught him when he was young are long since gone. Their names only stories. I know he may not tell you, but truly he would be the only one to know.
The only one breathing.
Yes. Your uncle, he did some legwork to try and figure out and learn the things your father knows, and to my knowledge, he discovered nothing.
Nods. Well, that's only one person failing at it. It's never stopped failings before.
That is true.
He's the only one living, huh? He looks over to Lena. He's like, just you wouldn't happen to know anyone who wasn't anyone in the union or anything that could call up spirits or anything like that, huh?
Huh. Not any that I ever met.
Bastion? You got your
Sorry,
holy
what's the
stuff.
question?
You got your holy stuff, don't you? You know anyone who can talk to those past?
Give me a bit of time and I can try, but most clerics who bring back the dead can do that. Whether or not they bring back the dead to do it, you can still talk to them.
Not bring back. Just
No, I know, but you can speak to their ghost if you're strong enough to bring back the dead. And I mean, look, I'd never understand the line with you. Do you consider weapons aid or no? And do you want aid in this? Because you probably can't do it on your own, as you are. You're either going to get helped by being taught or being helped by a boon.
if I can learn it and I can put the work into it to make it my own, that's fine.
Then
But I
give me
won't
a
be
chance to
given a
look at your
magical
shield.
sword that cuts any man
Obviously
down when
not.
you look at it.
Yeah. Also, if anyone had that sword, it'd be ridiculous. Who would have a sword that... What, you could use a sword that could kill God. That shit doesn't exist. But no, give me a chance to look at your shield tonight. I'll give you the upgrade I promised. And if I can, I'll try to talk to my god. I'll see if she knows anything. Well, she's not my god, but she's the one I have to talk to. Whatever, it's a whole thing. Just, I'll work on the shield. Probably while I do so, I'll communicate with her and see what the keeper thinks. But past that, it's just going to be a shiny shield.
Alright.
Again, I specialize in armor, not weapons.
Nemia?
Leaf. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
Yep, sorry. Nemia? I wouldn't think a basic skald had something like that in their back pocket, but I mean the ball of fur on your shoulder makes me know you're not basic. You got any way to talk to those who aren't around anymore? You know anyone?
Might be a way, and I'll look to Chile, as in DDM's eyes.
Chili will kind of talk back to you and say, "We can summon demons. We can't summon spirits.
Can we
We can
summon demons?
devils. We can summon all the creatures of the underworld, except for spirits."
Demons from the underworld speak to spirits.
I guess there are arguments to be made that perhaps they have some sort of knowledge, but you can't exactly target who you're summoning.
Mhm.
It's just kind of like, let's try and summon something.
And I'll look to Killian. I think there's I wouldn't say 50-50, more like a 95% chance of summoning something that's more trouble than help. 95 because I don't trust
Raise an eyebrow.
trust it at all.
What, like fighting it?
Like fighting whatever I summon. You
Yeah.
mean? Oh,
Like is that the
that-
worst case?
I think so.
To your knowledge, nothing you've summoned in the past has been able to break free of your summoning.
They do possess some conditioning whenever I summon them because they are compelled to give me some sort of aid. But it doesn't force them to be truthful or
Mhm.
helpful at all.
Alright. And Leaf was gonna say something.
Yeah. So, Leaf was actually going to chime in with. So, I'm assuming you will be heading to Vetador after this, after a rest.
Yeah, no, it's probably going through Forngrin just because it's on the way, but
Yes, of course. Well, I'm sure you know the old tales of Forngrind. Forngrind, for reference, is basically it means old gate, old implying ancient. There's kind of a legend around it that it once was a portal to the realm of the Fey creatures. And there have been strange creatures roaming the forest around Forngrind in the past. So legend is there's a gate there somewhere, maybe. So Leaf kind of continues. In ancient times, the Fae once came to our aid in times of trouble. Now, I don't know that this counts, or if this is just the wars of men, as they might see it. But there is perhaps a chance to find more aid in combat.
Killen thinks about it, and it's like, I mean, a portal there?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Forngrind many times and I've never seen such a thing. But
No, but I mean, if it's there, it's part of the kingdom. If I'm looking to be king, I should make introductions to everyone, don't you think?
I don't know that the realm of the Fae falls under our realm, but
Yeah, any wander in and been here for a while, maybe.
perhaps they might see the forest as theirs and want to defend it. It's reasonable.
That's
There's reason to align on such a thing. Seems like more politics to me, though. He says, kind of like jokingly to you.
yeah, he sighs and just. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to completely expunge that aspect. I'd like to, but as long as there's two people, there's going to be some.
Of course.
I mean, more the unjust stuff. If they got anything, it's worth a try.
Yeah, and since you are heading that way anyways.
Yep. Is there anywhere else you could think of? Old ruins.
Between here and Vetador, no.
Even with a slight detour.
None so slight. I know there are still many ancient ruins further into the valley, and some in the Valley of the Old Kings. So for you guys are still on the map, aren't you?
Yep.
Oh, good. So he's referencing
I assume
Up
this
in
is the
the-
valley.
Yep, up in the valley. Yep. So there's known to be many ruins up here, and the Valley of the Old Kings, which is the kind of northern valley of the Old Kingdom.
Yep, that's way the hell and gone.
Yeah. There is nothing. There is no slight detour.
Mhm.
Yeah. There are random scattered things all over the place, but it's not like they're well
No.
documented and well known. Exactly. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go visit this ruin over here and then go to this ruin over here because
For side reference too. Where was the one that was that in the Old Kingdom or was that no, it was in the Old Kingdom where Killian met L'Oreal.
That would have been probably on one of your expeditions in the forest.
So I'd imagine
You're
like around.
Yeah, somewhere in that vague area. You don't know exactly where you were at the time. You were just kind of wandering. But yeah.
Okay.
So you know that there are ruins vaguely in the southwestern direction.
Yep.
So I don't know,
Also,
vaguely this way.
also as a side note, because I'm having trouble remembering, where it was said to the west from when we were up over at.
Yes.
Was it New Haven? The other half of the Wolf Mantle?
Yes.
Okay.
Far to the west.
Far, so like, yeah.
He mentioned
Yes.
the seer mentioned desert and heat.
Okay, yeah. That's what
Yep, we're talking volt.
Yep.
We're talking volt there.
We're talking Volt. Alright. Just nods. And just one other thing, too, I guess. Because,
Of course.
I know my dad fights in a certain way, and I've been trying my best to pick up what little I can of that. But, I mean, you ever seen anything like this before? And he's gonna just, like, pull his hand out and just kind of operate the claws for a second.
Okay. There's probably like a jump, as surprising.
Yep.
And he says, "No, I have not seen such things. Where did you?" He's like, perhaps it's best I not know, but that is unique.
Don't worry, I don't turn into a big furry thing on the full moon.
That is good to know.
Although I have tried talking to some of those kinds, and apparently they haven't seen much like it either. It's just, I don't know, I'm wondering if there's like a great-grandfather I've got or something that did something like this. Because, I'll be honest, I just kind of got a hold of it, but I don't... No one showed me how to do it.
There is... I mean, your family is known for, in ancient times, learning to fight. The first king learned to fight from a Valkyrie after being, brought back from the dead. But nothing like this. Nothing like this at all. In all my years have I seen such a thing.
And there's a turn and a grin over at Lena.
I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of that. Was he saying something about ancestors coming back from the dead, or what?
So the first king, the legend goes that he was killed, brought back from the dead, and was taught to fight by a Valkyrie.
Okay.
And now Killian's looking at you smugly.
Just back, shrugs, what do you expect me to do about this?
Yep, and just on that, and just turns back to the conversation. Because if I can find something on my own, something to rival what my old man's got, then
that would be something.
But and he just leans back in the chair. Well, still, you've been a great help.
Of course, always.
And I say this either for you getting family out, and I mean, if you grow weary of the mortal realm, or you want to see just how far you can push it, you can. There's the Dawn Guard still prowling around here. I would be surprised if they stumbled across our little settlement.
I would not back down from a fight, but these bones are growing old.
Yeah, And Killian nods. So, no, just they're not getting younger. But that's your choice.
We, if they head this way, we'll probably hold up in the castle. If it's just a small group of us, we can stand a siege for a little while. Hopefully long enough for whatever dispute to be resolved between you and your father. At the very least, he will have to send people to reclaim his home.
Nods. See if I can't get anything going from Forngrind either.
Yes.
I'm sure they'd love to be in the king's good graces, either the current or future, for keeping the home safe.
Well, I mean, if the castle falls, who would be next, right?
Hmm.
So,
Also,
That-
we just put it back up.
so to speak, yes. For reference, it was probably destroyed soon after the calamity.
Yep.
So it has not been around for too long at all.
Yep, that's fine. But yeah, when it's got the reputation, it's got the reputation.
Yeah.
Well-
It's older than your father, but not by much.
We'll make it a steal this time.
Conversation in the
On the
background.
side, just very quiet.
But anyways, we discussed feeling that would I pay when I try to be knowledge into his head.
So, you've passed the time, gaining what information you can. You have eaten a solid meal. It has probably been, about an hour. The sun is down. Now might be an ideal time for rest.
Yep.
As you have a journey ahead of you, but it is also a cautious rest,
Mhm.
as if you are followed, they would not be too far behind. Given the size of their force, Friggsvagar, and how quickly they were able to infiltrate Friggsvagar, they were probably able to do so quickly,
Mhm.
without much walls to stand behind, to hold up in. The city probably fell quickly. And as such, you will actually, probably around this time, the first trickling of people has probably started to arrive.
Mhm.
The people that own horses and carts, the people that can move the fastest, have probably started to arrive. So the castle is kind of built like a little ways up on a hill, so you can see over the land to the east. Obviously to the west it's forest, so it doesn't do you a whole lot of good. But you can start to see the trickling of people seeking shelter, bringing whatever rations they can by cart. Probably a scattering of people have come by the farm, and people are just trying to sort out the logistics of where to put everybody. If you'd like to take charge in this matter, you can, seeing you are the head of the house currently.
I was gonna say, yeah, Killian will do his best to at least grease the gears on this.
Yep. So, given the likelihood of attack, it makes sense to have people go to the actual, castle itself.
Yep.
So you can start having people pour in there, and it's just a trickling of people. It's not, large crowds. It's just, a family or two that have joined up that will arrive. Maybe another family, 10, 15 minutes later. Just small trickling. You don't know how many people actually made it out of Friggsvagar. So,
And also at a point during the night, Killian is going to firstly head to his own room.
yep, of course.
He's gonna.
No, it's been kept up.
Mhm.
It's been cleaned. but everything is mostly where you left it.
And he's just going to grab what he can, like any old trinkets or that he's like collected over the time.
Okay.
Old like gifts of amulets or anything
Mhm.
like that, like like an old practice sword he has memories of,
Okay.
and into the bag of holding.
Okay.
Maybe throw it into a sack first, just so it's kept together.
Separate. Yeah. Sure. So sack of Killian's goods.
Yep.
Add that to the bag of holding.
And around a similar time, Bastion's gonna kind of not even knock on Cody's door, but kind of push it open and stick his head through, and just, hey, I need to sit down and talk to you for a second.
Gillian looks over and just bops him on the helmet with a training sword.
His face doesn't change, like seriously.
Oh, yeah. You've got some Zera's balls walking in here.
I've stopped trying to.
We're
wait for
supposed to be
permission.
put together and ready to leave at a moment, right? It's not gonna work if both of us are bleeding.
That's why I'm still in my armor. I'm ready to go at a moment's notice. But that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you. You willing to sit down and actually have a conversation with me for once?
Depends.
On?
You willing to get on the ground and give a fucking apology for that shit you pulled in the last dinner?
Which one? Because with you, I can't fucking tell how to talk with you. What did I do to defend you this time? Was it warning you of a danger? Was it talking to Volva when I wasn't supposed to? What?
How about, I don't know, the implication that I left Vera with a kid and fucked off?
Is that some sort of major taboo here, unlike the Union?
It was a
It's
twitch.
kind of just par. From what I'm used to, that's just par for the course for.
To be fair, that is
Platform.
kind of taboo everywhere.
It's taboo, but I think it's to a lesser extent.
Sure.
Like people have bastard children, I imagine.
Yes, that is more common in the Union. Yes.
Yeah. It's
What are you one? That's why it's so cool with you.
No, I'm just used to insulting you and not used to you reacting like that. We'll apologize if we want.
Are you seriously fucking fine if we go the same way in front of your family?
You can say whatever you want to my family. I'm not gonna be nice to them. And frankly, if I walk in with someone like you down there, they're already gonna be offended. I frankly couldn't care what you say to them. But if it was something I wasn't supposed to say, I do apologize. I wasn't trying to cause offense.
You're actually worth a fight, Bastion. That's note of respect here. And so when you're with me, and when I'm taking responsibility for your ass, what you can say can actually be taken with some sort of seriousness. Don't think I'm you.
I never would. You actually want to be big and strong. But again, that's not the important point. If you want me to apologize, I'll apologize, though it takes me an age to get down on my knees, so you have to be patient. His armor's not exactly mobile.
He just leans up on the wall behind him and just folds his arms and waits.
Yeah, he'll get down on his knees. He'll just not bow his head, but he'll just sit down on his knees if I caused offense in your court, I apologize. I wasn't trying to disparage your name.
There's a tilt of the head and it's like, I don't fucking believe that.
Why? Have I ever insulted you with any actual fire to me?
Do you know what an insult is? If you don't intend to bring anyone's name through the dirt at all, you don't fucking say it.
Yeah, half the shit you say is some sort of form of insult.
Yes,
That's
and I
pretty much
mean to
how you
drag
guys
you down
communicate.
for it.
Oh, maybe that's the difference. I took it as playful. No word you could say could hurt me. I'm gonna be honest. It's just words.
Shrugs. It's not looking to hurt me. It's for anyone around me. It's for Vera, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd be more comfortable apologizing to her, but like I said, wasn't.
Well, you got something to do after this.
Cool. Then actually sit down and talk with me. I did my part.
And just walks over, like pulls a chair out from under a desk he has, and sits down.
Yep.
All right.
Mm.
What's got you so bad that you've actually wanted to walk towards me?
I've been trying to talk to you for weeks now. You just don't care enough to notice. Finally pissed you off enough to pay attention. But what I care about right now, the rest is paltry in comparison. What you did with those nobles, rallying the fight. Explain to me your mindset, because that's not the killing that I thought I knew. The killing I thought I knew would yell at them to join him in the fight. He'd lead the way and slaughter his way through an army of any size, and if he needs to, die trying. What was different this time? First time I've seen you fight for something more than just your honor.
I love this country. It's where I'm from. It's from what I am. I'm fortunate the same way you make swords.
Breaking it down so it can be rebuilt stronger.
That's what I do to myself.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do to this place.
And how do people have to die for that? Before the country is stronger.
Yeah, he tells his head. Right, this is the second part where you actually consider cultures outside your own.
Yeah, no, I'm genuinely asking. I'm not doing this as a judgment on you. I'm not some political scientist. I can't figure you out, Killian. I've tried. I can understand a need to prove yourself. I can understand that desperate want for something. I can't understand getting yourself killed for it, especially not killing your citizens for it. But if it's something I'm not understanding, explain to me.
There's honor
frankly,
in death.
I have. Sure, there's also honor in making sure you're around to build something better.
Yeah, and we're free to make that choice. Just because we take one bit more than anyone else doesn't mean anything more or less of it.
Again, I'm not casting out the judgment.
Then what are you asking?
I'm asking if it's worth it if I should stay. I don't care about this country. I care that you give a shit about this country. So explain to me why it's worth going back on your honor and instead choosing to reforge it. Because if I had my way, I'd just leave, go up north, leave the Union, fuck all this shit. Go build some swords up north. They have this new kind of steel similar to Valiant steel. But you and Lena and Mia, you guys interest me. You're built something different. You want to be stronger. Lena is fundamentally powerful. She doesn't even know how. Nemea has influence. That's what interests me. So why do you give a shit about this country? Other than the fact you were born here. That was luck.
Fine. It's not just that I was born here, it's that I was made here. I was built up here. It's that everyone else around me is built up here. So I've gone and I've looked around other places. The amount of times I had to hold my tongue on this or that or the other just because I didn't want to get run out of town because of the extra shit going on in the back. Here you got a problem with someone, you knock their teeth in or you get your teeth knocked in by them. That solves it. People fought battles and wars. They died. They died because there was honor in death. But that only comes with the next generations knowing your name. What you did.
Then what's more honorable? Doing as much as you can in one life, or dying for the hill that you chose to stand on? Are you a coward for choosing not to fight in that battle because you want to do something better with your life? I don't know how your culture works, I'm asking. Are people going to label you a coward for that? Or are they going to label you a leader who, through a difficult choice, chose to live so we could fight another day?
Depends on how it ends.
Winner writes history, I guess.
There's a smile on his face. Yeah, I think you got it there, buddy.
So is that what it is? Make sure you're the winner so that you can always write history?
No. History writes itself. That's what the skalds are for.
Well, I suppose there is something to be said about a non-literary tradition, but... Alright.
You get your name down in the books. make sure you pull some shit. That raises so much of a fuss that your names are in the books, in the standing stones, in the songs of the performers. And there's some honor in doing your best and failing at that too.
Alright, I gotta ask you another question. Look, I don't want to fight you. I want to challenge, but I don't want to fight you, you know that. So give me enough of a bone to actually figure out how to communicate with you, okay? So, I'm probably going to ask questions you're going to hate. Just tell me you hate them rather than trying to punch me in the face. Okay, it's simpler that way. Like you said, we can't afford to be bloody right now. Okay? Is that fair at least?
Make yourself worth it and we'll see.
Fuck it, fine. You're ashamed of being noble, aren't you? You hate the idea that you've been handed power.
Thinks about it. He doesn't know.
Who doesn't know?
There's an ideal, let's say. The reason names should have weight is the family you're coming from. It's the blood that's in your veins. It's a forewarning, an omen of what that person can do in the future. Capabilities they have. How far they're willing to go.
So then you acknowledge that someone born noble is greater opportunity for power. Just fundamentally. And because of luck.
Better chance.
Right. Yeah, right. Why the hell do you seem so scared of that idea? Do you feel like you haven't earned it yet? What is it? Just because you were born strong? Because you were born with people to teach you? Does it make you weaker because of it?
Shakes his head. I don't quite
What?
get it. It's when that line goes from knowing the person will do something to assuming they will. Not thinking it's the best chance, but saying it is the only chance. Hell, not even considering that fact and just giving them all the bells and whistles for it anyways, just because of the name.
Huh. You mean like when you go and stab the leader of the Boar clan and no one raised a hand against you?
And shrugs.
You know, if it was any other person, they would have just killed you.
GM.
If you had killed, oh no, if any other person had tried to attack Halvar,
Yeah.
yes, they probably would have.
Just shot him. That's what he has guards for.
I mean, there's something. One-on-one combat is not uncommon, but there definitely would have been repercussions for just attacking the Jarl.
He nods. It's like, yeah, and I could get away with it because I know what was going on, so I did it. That's the
Alright.
difference. Problem is when that's given to someone who doesn't know the difference. Someone who does it for fun. It's not deserved to everyone. You make sure you deserve it. Cycle feeds itself. Snake on its own tail.
Yeah, I know. Alright. I'll have to... I think that's a line that I don't have enough perspective to see myself. But... if I stick around long enough, I guess I'll figure it out.
So, I'd say roughly around now. You know, it's been some time. You guys have been conversing for a while.
Yep.
There is, even deep within the castle as you are.
I knew it was too good to be true. You can't just let us have one encounter a day, Eric.
No. Obviously not.
Mhm.
I did not design that encounter to be a one encounter a day
Yeah.
thing. So
Oh well. We'll see how this goes.
there is the sound of a deep horn in the distance, a sound of alarm, sound of an approaching enemy.
Then look at Killian and just, well, this one worth dying in, or are we running to Forngrind?
See how many they got. And he
Yeah.
gets out and he walks out.
Okay, you head outside. I'm sure the party, everyone has heard this horn, this call. You gather outside on the hill. You see a large number of troops. It is dark, so you cannot make out exact numbers, but there are perhaps at least 50 torches that you can see being held by people among this crowd, soldiers among this crowd that are marching.
Does every
on the
soldier have a
castle.
torch, or?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. They're placed, almost strategically amongst the crowd. They are chasing, there's the last few people that were like just ahead of the soldiers have entered into the gate. The people have started, the people of the surrounding farmlands and houses have started, just fleeing into the castle to begin to hole up against whatever force is marching on them. There are many able-bodied, there's many warriors here that will gladly stand and fight. But if you could only hold perhaps a fraction of the army that you saw at Friggsvager, and it looks like a fairly sizable force out in the distance. And it's dark, so you can't even get an exact number.
As I imagine we're running to whoever's in charge. Bastion is just gonna kind of mention, it's like, this is perfect grounds for a siege. We may not even get the fight you're hoping for.
A siege will end this place.
Yeah.
Especially one without warning, preparation, and with additional mouths to feed.
Nice.
There is, you've probably joined a council of kind of the heads of the area, those that would be obviously underneath the family, but still prominent figures in the area. Leaf would be among them. He comes over to you and says, there's not many people have shown up here. We can last in a siege for a while. And though I welcome you to stay and fight alongside us, it would be an honor, and we would much glory to be had in this fight. But I think your journey might take you elsewhere at this crossroad.
Nods.
I'll leave that decision to you.
And he'll look to the group gathered. I'm gonna ask each of you. You got two options. Well, three. You can trust my father and the people of Forngrind. Word's already been sent. Word's already been sent to give aid over this direction. But I'm gonna make it. The plan is to make it that way, and convince them that more is needed. Second option, you can trust in me and my going to the capital to take the crown for myself and squash out every little bit of the bastards on our doorstep. Or the third is you can trust neither of them. But if you've got anything in your heart for 1 or 2. Better I go. Where's your trust placed?
Is
Oh,
this directed at the party or the group?
Everyone.
yeah. I'll put my hand in your shoulders and say, I see but one option. And I think a bard from the north wouldn't be down here to pick any other. If I'm gonna die, it's gonna be graceful and epic, okay? And for the right cause, probably.
Your options are really starving to death in this castle, maybe a desperate last rally against an overwhelming force. Frankly, you dying to them is giving them the victory. Brave as it may be, and as much as you would probably be welcome in either of the halls. Giving them anything is sour.
And Killian kind of like has a smile on that and just, yeah, I would be welcome if I went out here. I want them begging for me.
I'd say withdraw to the woods. The Dawn Guard rely on formations and discipline. They don't do well in closed quarters and against a force that attacks and retreats.
Mm.
It's not the pitched battle of the legends, but
Isn't it so much more glorious to defeat an army 10 times your size?
I mean, we still gotta
Oh,
march
it-
on their
it's
capital, don't we?
the more we can preserve for that, the better. And frankly, I'd rather take some of them with me if it came to that.
If we're talking allegiances, you're too stubborn to wear some fucking armor. Someone's gonna keep you alive. So, yeah, I'll follow you.
And the ones in charge of the armies,
Fuck
in
'em.
charge of the people here. No, he's referring to them for their answer.
Oh, basically to Leaf, because he's kind of the
Yep.
most senior member here.
Mhm.
Yep. We'll, I think we have a duty to try and protect our home. We will stay here. To die in glorious battle would be something. But if we could save the home, if you could perhaps send some more warriors to help, be appreciated.
Give you some friends to die in combat with.
Of course, of course.
Nods. Well, then trust in us, but first trust in our horses to get us there.
You have some of the best horses, so I would trust they carry you to the ends of the earth.
And if the leaders
Yes,
at Foreign Grid don't want to give aid, trust my sword arm.
There's a smile on his face and a nod.
Well, I think we should go then.
Yeah.
At this point, Vera and Verdandi have also joined you once more. Vera has changed. She's been in kind of her formal, more regal attire, and though her look is still, formal and regal, she has changed into more travel wear,
Yep.
so to speak. She's just kind of ditched the dress. She has pants. And before her, the little feather ornament on her shoulders, previously that was decoration, and now it seems to have been replaced with some visually similar looking, but is very clearly like armor. It's metal.
Mhm.
She is dressed for battle, for fighting if need be. Verdandi approaches the group and says, "Well, it has been a pleasure traveling with you. The events happening presently are perhaps omens of things to come. But I will take my leave of you.
Before you go, I have one question I would want to ask of you, but just between us.
Very well." And Verdandi turns to Killian and says, "My king," she says, like, almost suggestively, obviously. You're not king yet, but...
Yeah, it also said, oh, okay, give me your honest opinion. What do you think my chances are at that?
I see many of the events happening presently. As for the future, it is beyond my sight at the moment.
Then one other. You wouldn't happen to have any ways to contact those paths, would you? Or anywhere we could go?
If we had more time, perhaps. The answers to the question you have, your father does have them. And my only suggestion is that if you tell him the state of things, he might send you on the right path.
It's still worth a try at him, though, right?
That is your choice.
It's all right.
Yep, she, kind of this formal, well, not formal, like this kind of half curtsy bow thing, and she kind of motions for Lena to walk with her.
Mm-hmm. It's just a little way, and once they're a bit out of earshot of all the planning and preparation, Lena's just going to say the third runestone where we met.
Mm-hmm.
It holds some significance. I had a brief explanation of it. A runecaster to the north in Port Villard, but I'm not sure she knew the whole of it, though she had the same standard. I'm wondering now if it might be something that could lead me to answers to questions. A friend of mine, I assume a friend, gave me a token before I can remember with that rune on it. All I know is that it was meant as perhaps some kind of protection, or I don't know if there was some other message or some other meaning to it.
There are many meanings in the web. It is everything. It is... You see her kind of look over you a bit, and she says, "I think this journey you are on with Killian, your paths are intertwined, and this journey will take you both where you need to go. It will take all of you where you need to go. You will... The word has perhaps already started you down your path. Answers will come." She kind of gives you like a light pat on the shoulder. Do not worry.
Is there a difference between going where I need to go and going where it's best to go? Is there... I don't know if it's best for me to discover these answers or not. I've gone this long without them. It's been Killian who started poking and prying, and now I don't know if it's something that I meant to find out, if that makes sense.
Among my people of magic, the word, there is a ritual. This ritual is used only on the strongest of individuals. This ritual is to unite all parts of a person, to make them whole and complete. To not know who one was is to not be complete. You are, of course, you can make your choices, and fate willing, you will go where you choose. But knowing your past will guide you to the best choice you can make. There's much to be learned in the past. But I'm afraid it's not quite an area I can help you with. Not yet, at least.
Then I will continue this path, and as usual, see where it leads me.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? She will kind of take this as a moment to leave, to take leave of you, and you can rejoin the group.
Yep.
It's almost at that point, like Killian like walks in the hall. It's like, come on, we're going.
Yep. So you can, if there's any other conversations to be had, is there?
And just as they're going, as they're running to the horses, Killian will be like, "So what'd you learn?"
Nothing I didn't already think. Well,
Was I
nothing you
right?
need. Nothing you need to know about.
I was right. He just keeps running.
I doubt it, and also I don't know what you're saying you're right about.
So you make your way quickly to the stables.
Neither do I, but I don't have to. And then hops on the horse.
The horses have had, an hour or so to rest. It's not a huge amount of time, but they have had at least some form of rest, and they have been fed. You can, the horses are still ready. The stable hands did as you asked, and they you kind of go into the stables and find them eating dinner there, or at least they were eating dinner before the warning. But they stayed true, and they kept the horses ready and waiting. You mount your horses, and you take off into the forest, leaving long before the army can arrive to siege the castle, slipping out into the darkness of the forest.
This is painfully symbolic.
Yep. You take one last look back at Yr's castle, as given how history has gone, this may be the last time you see it in its current form.
Lily looks back and says, "Good goddamn thing I never took Aurora up on that offer."
Ooh, yeah, that'd have been interesting. So, going as fast as you can. It is through the forest, though, so I would say you can travel at a normal pace. There's enough of a path that you can travel at a normal pace, but a fast pace might prove dangerous. Might.
Yep.
Everyone, give me a stealth check.
Right.
Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
My thing.
Oh shit! Sorry, I forgot. You're not. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to.
Oh, man.
Oh no.
Well,
So that's an average of
bad.
8.2?
That's an average of bad.
Average of really bad.
I was considering
Okay.
like, you know, I only rolled an 8. Maybe I'll use my inspiration. The 7/7. Maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say,
So-
if something is coming nearby, I do have spells for that.
Okay.
Not only we are riding horses, we have coconuts, Monty Python style.
So
Just to
everyone, and in this case, give me a perception check.
Oh boy.
Oh,
What's
really?
the lighting like?
Good thing to bring up. It is dark.
Mhm.
So if someone is casting light or torches, now would be the time.
Killian is giving a smell.
I'm just
I'll-
rolling at disadvantage because no matter what, I'm not going to see anything.
I'll
Yeah.
leave the lights out of it. But I have advantage normally because of my shield, so
Wait, so did you say light or no?
I'm not going to do light.
No, I'm
But
good.
I have advantage naturally, so
I'm gonna use my inspiration on that one.
Dim light is disadvantage all across the board, honestly. So if there's no light,
That is
source-
true, except for Nemia, because
Oh,
Nemia.
come on.
Yeah.
yeah. But Killian's smelling, and I have advantage from my shield.
Nemia's dark vision renders the darkness dim, so it's still disadvantage.
Oh, that's
Oh, it is?
right.
Yep.
See,
That I mean, all things considered.
But is it
Thing.
dim out or is it
it's
dark out?
that's good.
It's dark.
Oh, if it's dark, then Lena couldn't have made a roll at all.
So I'm
Me-
just gonna go ahead and do this.
I was making the roll hoping that maybe sound-based something might come up if it was good enough, but it's not.
What does this thing got? Okay. So you guys are traveling through the darkness of the forest. We can sort out actual marching order next time.
Mhm.
But just so you are aware of what happens, you are through the forest, and you have come across, there's trees all around you, and there's kind of like this low cliff, like maybe 15, 20 feet, coming up on your right. As you are going past it,
For the record, at least Killian would probably be at the front.
oh yeah, Killian's at the front. I already knew that. That's a given.
Yep.
As for everyone else, we'll sort that out. But as you are starting to head past this cliff face, you hear this weird sound, almost how to describe it? It's like this deep it starts off like an owl.
Ooh.
And then turns into this loud roar as this giant creature descends off the top of the cliff onto
Almost
the
as
party.
if a bear.
And quickly you see lights spring up behind them. I'm just going to go put you on the map to see what we're dealing with.
These guys have armored owl bears.
They're not armored, per
Okay.
se.
Uh,
Normal owlbears.
same.
I hate that response.
What can you guys see? Because I know you guys aren't really traveling.
Absolutely nothing. I am in darkness, and I can see like the upper corner of the map that's lit up.
Yeah, me
Yes,
too.
that's basically that's the important part. So
Mhm.
you're traveling along. You can vaguely make out in front of you the next horse. You're traveling in darkness. You're trying to be quiet.
Might I note
Stealthy.
this?
Yes.
We rolled an average of an 8 on the stealth check. We can hear each other. We know where each other are.
Yeah. Oh, that fair point. You know where each other are. Yes.
All of our passive perceptions are higher than that.
So yes, you see as the giant owlbears leap off the cliff and begin to glide down onto the party to attack you with what appears to be some heavily armored Dawn Guard behind them. And that is where we're going to leave the session because we cannot do a combat in 9 minutes. So
Come get the king, you
Sounds
bastards!
like a fucking challenge.
there's no way. There's just simply no way.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's gonna take
Not with
8
you guys.
minutes to roll initiative.
Yep. Well, end the recording there. Until next time.
Till